There's some up here. Oh.
All right. I'm going to call to order this regular meeting of the Commission of the Arts on Monday, October 3rd, 2022 at 5:01 p.m. And let's start with a roll call. We have all members, okay.
Oh, yeah, let the record show all commissioners are present except for Commissioner Redlitz.
Let's all stand and face the flag for the pledge. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no special presentations or proclamations tonight. Do we have any oral communications?
There are none.
Okay. I see no changes to the agenda. So we'll move to approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, the motion passes with all members voting yes, with the exception of our newest member abstaining, Katie Fox. So we can move to the item 8, action items, and tonight we have the Commission for the Arts Work Plan, and I just wanted to kick off things by welcoming our newest commission member, Katie. Everybody say hi. All right. And just wanted to let you know that this is our work plan. We kind of go over progress that may have been made to the work plan at each meeting. And if you see anything on here that really speaks to you and does not have full membership, meaning there's fewer than 3 commission members assigned to it, that we could add you tonight as part of the work plan. And so, let's see, number 1, appointing commissioners. That's our update, is that we now have Katie joining the commission. Do we have any updates with cultural tourism or the Encinitas community grant? None?
I gave a little report on the CTC meeting last week. The next meeting is actually this Thursday, so I should have more to say at our next meeting, but that's the only update.
Thank you. Under arts advocacy, assisting the Encinitas Friends of the Art with fundraising activities and programs. I believe we will get to that further along in the agenda. So, moving on to assisting city staff with the arts, Americans for the Arts and economic prosperity. I know that we did have a really strong showing at the last arts night as far as commission members volunteering, and I know a lot of you were going around with the surveys, and it seemed like we captured quite a few surveys, which is awesome news. And we did receive an informational item or an informational email from Colette that was letting us know that October has been declared by the Biden administration to be the month of humanities and the arts, and hopefully there'll be more federal dollars towards the arts overall. Does anyone have anything else to report?
No, but I do have a question. Like, what's the progress for the surveys? Are we at our minimum number threshold, or do we need more?
We are not yet at the required minimum of 400, but we are on track to meet that number. And throughout the year, not only are we trying to meet that number, meet or exceed, but it's also important for us to continue to get a diverse group of events. So from dance and concerts and visual art. So we'll continue through April, but as of now, we are on track.
Colette, will we be collecting those at the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos?
Absolutely, yes, we will.
Can I just say, I was at Arts Night helping pass out the surveys, and I was really heartened by how receptive people were. Didn't get turned down by anybody, and people seemed really enthusiastic about why we were doing it. And it was, so I felt as though it was really productive, and it was nice to get to be a part of that process.
That's really, really encouraging feedback. I'm happy to hear that.
All right. I did also want to make mention that it being October being the month of being proclaimed the month of humanity and the arts, it was asked maybe that proclamations be made if you can make one. I guess it's probably too late for us to do that tonight, but maybe something to eyeball for next year's October. Maybe the Arts Commission could have a proclamation in support of Arts and Humanities Month.
Commissioner, our Chair Corral Schmidt, it's not too late to do that.
Oh.
And once that was brought to my attention, my mind was rolling. We've done that for Parks and Recreation Month, and we've done that for Public Works Month. So we can certainly bring a proclamation forward before the end of October to our City Council. So we can put that on our work plan.
Oh, that would be great.
Do we need to vote on that?
You do not need to vote on that because Colette and I will take care of that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thanks. And let's see then. Moving along.
Have we had any news on the master plan, at least where it is?
Well, that's where
at
we
this
are now,
point?
yeah. So I was hoping maybe there will be a little news on the master plan tonight.
Do you want to speak on that?
Oh, yes. So we're coordinating a meeting to have an initial review of the master plan and see the path forward and see how can we do outreach and such. So we're trying to coordinate that meeting, hopefully for early next month.
So I did just get an email from Commissioner Redlitz a short time ago, and it sounds like with everybody's schedules, we're looking at possibly the 1st or 2nd. So I know that Commissioner Abraham and Venezuela are on that committee. So if you could check those 2 dates, that would be great, and then just email me if either one of those are available.
All right, wonderful. So moving on to support and advocate formation of the County Arts Council as part of the County of San Diego. Has there been any movement on that?
Nothing to report yet.
Okay. And,
Can I ask a question about that?
sure.
Can you just explain a little bit deeper what that's about?
So initially it was, so the county was thinking about forming a commission for the arts at a county level. So this was it started last November, I believe, and there was outreach and talks, and then this year was part of their budget to create an office for that. And so we created a letter of support saying we fully support that the county is putting this forward and we encourage it. So what was going to happen is that, each supervisor was going to nominate 3 individuals to this commission, but that hasn't progressed that much after that.
Thank you.
Does that sound like something you'd like to be part of?
Yeah, we have a spot open on that. Huh?
There's a spot open on that committee.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yay.
Great.
So I nominate Katie to be on that committee.
Second that.
Point of order, you don't actually have to take action on committee assignments.
Oh, we don't?
Nope, I take it back.
We don't
Okay.
get to vote on that. Okay.
All right,
So
you're on.
we just pencil you in here.
But I was just going to add that as kind of background to this proposal or this initiative, the city of San Diego has an arts commission that is a really valuable source of funding, especially for small arts organizations. And their
Yes.
mission is largely to promote diversity and to help those smaller organizations. But the county, if you're an arts organization in the broader county, you haven't had access to that kind of source of funding. So that's really a lot of the impetus behind this, as I understand it.
Thank you. All right, so assisting with the promotion of city arts and cultural events. So I just wanted to shout out everyone on the commission who helped out at the last one. It was a great event at the last Encinitas Arts Night, and thanks for assisting with it, being there in person and promoting it beforehand and everything everyone's done. All right, if there's nothing else there, moving on to number 7, research the feasibility for program of hosted artist homestays. Nothing on that?
Yeah, there's not really anything new to report on that right now.
Okay. And then within public art, we have the sculpture installation program, El Portal in Olympus Park. Of course, we did choose our contractors for El Portal, which was discussed last month. The sculpture pad installation program, we're looking at around a January timeline for that RFQ going out. And yeah, anything else you might add?
I think you covered pretty much all of it. We will re-release the RFP in early 2023 for the sculpture program. And the award of contract is currently scheduled for October 12th City Council meeting. And Encinitas Boulevard undercrossing installation, I think I shared last time, got moved to December 5th, and we are currently still on track for that.
All right. Excellent, thank you. Are there any openings on any of those at the moment? No, those look full, huh? Okay. All right, investigate feasibility of using outer spatial app.
Chair Krausman, I can give an update on that. So we are near our launch for the Outer Spatial app, and the first part of the launch is really to focus on the trails and amenities in the city as far as recreational trails and public facilities. And once that's done, we can start meeting with our committee and talking with Nick Buck, who's the project manager on that, to discuss what elements of art we'd like to include, and we're really looking at the public art around town first, so we can probably kick off those committee meetings in the very near future, probably sometime in November or December.
That's excellent. Thanks for the report. We do have space on that item. And then moving on to visual art, assisting with Art Night Encinitas, pre-event planning, and at the event volunteering. So once again, I thought we did a really strong showing at the last one, with commission members volunteering and collecting surveys. And I felt like it was a pretty good event overall.
Do we still have the shuttle?
The shuttle was running.
Okay, good. And did we have people on the shuttle, or was it working out not to?
It looked like people were taking it. The early portion of the event was definitely better attended than the later portion has kind of seemed to be the trend, especially past summer.
Yeah.
And we did have NCL volunteers as shuttle hosts
Oh, good.
for all 3 of them, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And they were able to assist not only with navigation and information about the event, but while it was light enough, they also did surveys on the shuttles until it got dark.
Do have any numbers for how many people attended and how it compared?
It was a little smaller than the last one, which is pretty normal. We had approximately 400 people at the library, and I think that was our best guess for community center, which was really popular. And we think there were about 175 people at City Hall.
All right.
Thank you.
So under arts education, we have support existing city arts education programs and direct potential arts instructors to city RFPs. Do we have any city RFPs?
Hold on one quick second. I just wanted to give a really quick update on the visual art selection panel.
Oh, sure.
It
Did I
is,
skip that? Sorry.
that's okay. It has been scheduled for, the jurying panel has been scheduled for October 19th from 3:30 to 5:30. And in addition to the 3 arts commissioners, I have 3 guest panelists lined up, which include Sarah Banks, who is a San Diego Library Arts curator, Kurash Yayai, who is a San Diego artist and painting instructor at San Diego State, and Kate Joyner, who is a local artist here in Carlsbad. So those applications, the deadline closed last Thursday. We're in the process of pulling all of the applications together. I don't have a number for you to let you know how many we have received just yet. But once we get all of that put together and put in a 2D folder and a 3D folder, that will be sent out to the jurying committee so they have some time to review that ahead of that meeting on the 19th.
Is there any, like, estimated time?
It is our goal to get that out to you this week.
Oh, good, great, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Greatly looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
My first time serving on a visual arts selection panel since I've been, before my time's up here on the commission. So moving on then. All right, we already did performing arts. Yeah, so back to arts education. Are there any current RFPs for art program instruction at this time?
I can speak on that. Thank you. We do have a live RFP right now for all types of instruction through the city. Colette and I have on our work plan to rework an RFP process specific to arts, so that way it really is made custom for the arts community, and attracts our visual artists, performing artists, and such. So we'll be working on that. That is on our work plan to complete that over the next few months and get that out, because as we had mentioned before, our intentions with Pacific View is to make sure that we have quality arts programming already in place and that we're move-in ready with some programming over at that site.
Excellent, thank you. And so that about does it for the work plan.
And I was going to answer your question about whether there were any active RFPs. There are not for the public art earlier, but there will be at first part of the year.
Great, thank you. Okay, so item number 9, informational items. 9A, the Cultural Arts Division report from Administrator Murphy.
Hello, I apologize. I may still be talking a little bit funny, and I may hand over the mic to Travis at some point. I had oral surgery last week, healing well, but not 100% just yet. In addition to all of the events that we have already talked about, I'm really excited to share that Music by the Sea kicked off with an amazing pianist on Friday, September 23rd. 3 standing ovations. It was amazing. Looking forward to the next concert on October 21st. I am also working on getting ticketing live for performing arts programming at the community center. We have 2 choir performances scheduled for December 10th and 2 Nutcracker performances scheduled for December 17th. So I'm hoping to have that ticketing made live very, very soon. We are currently looking at piano maintenance programming and really ensuring that the instruments are maintained and taking things like temperature and humidity and salinity into consideration. And once a year, pianos need to go in for some extra tuning where they basically go into the shop. So I'm going to be looking at a calendar and finding when within the library's very busy schedule we can afford to be without a piano for 4 days. So that'll be interesting.
So they're already tuned monthly, right?
Currently, they are tuned quarterly,
Quarterly.
and then regularly scheduled quarterly appointments. But then there are other appointments here and there for special needs. So it ends up getting done about 6 times a year, sometimes more.
Great.
And that includes the community center, which doesn't have regular programming. That gets regular tuning regardless. And then often a rental will want to use the piano, and we make sure that it gets tuned before whatever party is in there is using it, so that the instrument is in the most ideal shape possible. And then I have other exciting news, which is that because of there is a retirement within the Parks and Rec department, and because the Arts Division, as you all know, has been managing to provide programming on just 1.75 staff people, we are looking at adding a staff person. We are hoping to get that posted this week for an arts supervisor, and that is going to be incredibly helpful. As you all know, programming has expanded, and there is so much that we do within this division. And we are specifically looking at someone who has performing arts experience to help with concerts, the programming at the community center, and also someone who's got experience with community and arts events, things like Dia de los Muertos, Art Night, things like that. And those kinds of postings are generally put out for about 2 weeks. We're going to put this one up for 4 weeks. It's very important that we put this out and make sure that we can capture some good candidates. As part of the panel, we are interested in having one of the commissioners sit on the round 1 of the interview panel. So we'll be bringing back a staff report for your next meeting to look at appointing one commissioner to sit on that panel.
And I just want to speak a little bit more about that process. Generally, with California cities, what generally happens is there's a qualifying panel. They generally take people who have expertise in that field. So for instance, if you're looking at a director of a department, a lot of times they'll ask city managers from other cities to sit in on that. So generally, it's a person who works in city government that sits on that panel, but we know the importance and the knowledge, or the importance of the position and the knowledge that we have here on the commission. So we want to make sure that we're involving this commission in on that process.
Is this a full-time?
This will be a full-time person.
A
Yay.
full-time position,
Jeez.
yes. We are going to increase the department by 1/3. It's huge. We're going to be almost 3 whole people.
So I'm just curious though, so it seems like you've shifted a position from more of a Parks and Rec field into cultural arts. Is that kind of what's gone on?
So yes, we actually have a retirement in the recreation division. We've actually brought on a lot of new staff in the recreation division over the last year and a half, and we feel that we can still meet the needs of the community on the recreation side. The other thing that I know a lot of you pay attention to city council meetings and such, but one of the things that we brought forward last year at our mid-year budget was the creation of 3 extended part-time positions, and that's really helped us out at the community and senior center on the recreation side of things. And that was really to kind of rebuild programming, making sure that we had coverage after COVID, because as you know, it's been very hard to recruit people for different positions. So the council was gracious enough to grant us those 3 positions. That's really helped us out and has allowed us to take a position from recreation and create this new position on the arts division.
It's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to having a commissioner's input on that panel. It brings a different lens of expertise on that review. And that is my cultural arts division, so. Yeah.
So we have.
Oh, yes. I'm
commission
going
calendar.
to have Travis, I have a couple of extra items that Travis is going to speak to.
So we had a very busy day, and usually Colette and I meet ahead of time so we can talk about these things, but we had a very busy day and didn't get the opportunity, so I thought I'll just jump in on these just so that we can talk about it. The first thing I wanted to talk about is that we talked a little bit about the Outer Spatial app. It is a priority to get the trail portion of that out, and then, as I said, we'll be meeting as a committee, so I did give you an update on that already. The other thing that came up at a council meeting recently is Pacific View and the award of bid and the specs for that project. And one of the things that got asked by the public is, do we have to make the color selection now for the facility? And the answer at that time was no. So it was promised that we would bring that process back to the community and to the commission. I'm still working with the assistant city manager on that process, but it looks as though we're going to put together some color palettes. Let the public know that we're going to put those, put those color palettes out, and then have the opportunity for them to come and speak at the next Arts Commission meeting to discuss those palettes and hopefully come to a decision about what the colors will be used for Pacific View. So that's the process we'll be taking on that.
I realize that this just makes a lot more work for you because you have to do all the notifications and everything. But I think what is essentially important, not just that we do a good job selecting colors, but that the community have an opportunity to participate in what's going on at Pacific View.
Absolutely.
So thank you for doing that.
All right.
I'm sorry, actually I have one other thing, but it's related to the iPalpity update, so I can talk about it there.
Great. So then to the commission calendar, item 9B.
Yes. So I mentioned that we have, we have the Music by the Sea on October 21st. We are continuing to have the Wednesday at noon concerts every Wednesday in October. Those are still filling up. We are always reminding guests to please show up at 11:30 when the doors open because they are so popular. It's been really exciting to know that guests of all ages are still enjoying those, and because Encinitas Union School District is back in session, those kids have been enjoying the concerts as they get streamed into all 9 school sites every Wednesday. So that's a very exciting thing. And there is no art night this month, but we are actively working on the one for November, and I'll be sharing more information about that in hoping to get full commission support for that event across all 3 of the sites.
Excellent. Okay.
Colette, I'm sorry, which schools are they streaming to, the concert streaming to?
It's the Encinitas Union School District, which is
Those are grammar
Capri,
schools.
Paul Ecke, Flora Vista, Parkdale Lane,
Oceanal.
Ocean Knoll, Mission Estancia, OPE, Olevenhain, Pioneer, and, oh gosh, who am I
Hillcrest.
missing?
So
El Camino
the grammar
Creek.
schools. The grammar
Yes,
schools. but
grades K
not-
through 6. Oh, I got 8 of 9 off the top of my head.
Pretty good.
You passed the test.
It's a really
not
exciting, we have not yet gotten into the Cardiff School District to those 2 schools, but it is part of our plan to be able to do that, to connect with them and find out what it'll take to connect so that those 2 schools can have the same opportunity. It's just, now that I'm going to eventually have a 3rd person, and that would fall within performing arts, that would be a task that person could assist with.
Well, you
It's-
sure don't want them starting their new job with nothing to do.
That is not going to be a problem.
SDA 2? in the future?
Moving into the high school district would be the priority after the other elementary district. But yes, that is also on the radar.
Awesome. Great, thank you for reminding us of that. I completely forgot that was a thing, and that's a wonderful thing. So moving on then to 9C, our Encinitas Friends of the Arts report from Commissioner Valenzuela.
So yes, we continue with the planning for Dia de los Muertos. That's going to happen on October 29th. We recently got a new events coordinator on board, and this person has experience, they work part-time for the city of Carlsbad in their arts and culture department, and they've helped in community events here in Encinitas as well, so they're pretty familiar with the city. The EFA also got a grant from the County Board of Supervisor, Lawson Reamer, for $7,500, which will help fund Dia de los Muertos as well. And also, if you, I invite you, if you want to volunteer for that event, let me know, or if you know anyone who wants to volunteer, get in contact with me, and then I'll reach out to them. We're looking out for volunteers for the event.
All right, thank you, Navardo. So that brings us to item 9D, status report on the EPAL PD Festival from Director Carlin.
Yes, thank you. I don't have a lot to report on this. What I do want to let you know is that we're headed in the right trajectory. The city manager did have a conversation on Friday and then again today with IPALPD, and they are very near reconsidering their decision to leave Encinitas. So more information to follow on that. One item of clarification that I did want to mention is there was some mention about Music by the Sea. I just want to remind the commission that the Music by the Sea program is actually a city program. Winners for the different performers there are taken from the winners from the Beverly Hills audition, and those individuals are included. Historically, we haven't always had 9 winners, but we have had 9 concerts. So essentially what had happened in the past is city staff would have the latitude to fill in those spots with past winners of the competition. And so that's our general practice for that. The current Music by the Sea program is following that tradition as well. The consortium that was mentioned was founded in response to organizations' interest in having access to this caliber of artists to fill the different performance schedules. So I believe that was at Beverly Hills, Encinitas, and Torrance originally.
Other outside organizations really saw the high caliber of musicians, the artists there, and were very interested in how they might be able to learn more and have access to inviting those artists to perform with their different programs.
Yeah. And again, this is a resource for us. It doesn't actually, it is a resource for us to pull performers from, and we definitely value that because they are such high caliber performers. So that is a resource that we definitely are interested in continuing here with our Music by the Sea program.
So it's false that we are banned from the consortium?
I don't think the word banned was used. I think the word suspended was used. So we're still working on that. And so I just want to make that clear that it was suspended, not banned.
Thank you.
And also to clarify that all musicians in the current Music by the Sea season are Beverly Hills National Audition winners from either this year or a prior year.
You want to comment on apparently there was some confusion in the scheduling, and where some performers were first initially on the schedule and then they were removed?
Sure. So I'm not going to get into the back and forth on that one. However, what I can state is that there was some communication that we could that we definitely have to work through. However, the individuals that were selected, as Colette said, were past winners of the national auditions, and that has been past practice is for city staff to place those individuals in the performance schedule.
I noticed on the Encinitas blog, it lists Laura Schmieder as the as artistic director. And it's kind of unclear as to what that role is for the Music of the Sea, so you might want to check.
What blog are you referring to?
Not the, it was on a site on the Encinitas website,
It's on the city's website?
right,
Okay.
under the concert series.
We can check into that. Yes. She's the director of the consortium, but she is not the director of Music by the Sea program.
Just to follow up on the iPalpity, you mentioned that there was movement toward reconsideration of that decision. Are you at liberty to talk about kind of what the terms are or what the sticking points might be, or?
I'm not at liberty to speak at that yet. We're not quite there yet. So we should have a better update at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was reported in the Encinitas Advocate recently that the city is investigating. Are we going to get a full disclosure of that investigation to the Arts Commission?
Again, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it right now because it is still being worked on.
Well, sure, I understand that you're not going to give us a full report tonight, but will that be forthcoming?
And I don't know the answer to that. So that, you know, I don't have the answer to that right now. It's
Okay.
not in my department.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Is it clear with this new person coming on how they will be interacting with Pacific View and the programming that we're putting together for that right now? Will they be part of that? Is that your plan?
That's absolutely the plan because part of Pacific View is going to be our performing arts programming and visual arts programming. So definitely they will have a hand in that.
Okay. I think that's really a good idea to have somebody with who deals with the creative process of art, not just show, like what we do here is we show the art on the wall, but it's not part of the creative process, it's after it's been created.
Mm-hmm.
So the creative process is really very different. And with a piece of art, it's on the wall. With a piece of music, it's every time it's performed, it's the creative process. So I just think that's really a good idea to have a person with that background doing that process for us.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'd like to move to item 10. Commission member initiated agenda items. So we do have one from Commissioner Abraham tonight. It was a letter that she drafted.
Right, and I'm not sure if all of you had a chance to read.
Can we get a quick show of hands give a show of hands if you have read it.
Okay, well, it's
So
pretty short,
Yeah,
so.
let's read it out loud then, since everybody hasn't.
Right, well, first let me explain why
Sure.
I think this would be an important thing to do. It's something we haven't done, and that is for the commission to verbalize their support for ePalpity after all the, there were articles in the newspaper and a lot of messages have been going back and forth about the situation and the ePalpity concert series, which I don't know, Katie, if you're familiar with those. Those are concerts that have happened every summer for many, I'm not sure how many years, but was a discussion from the director that she was going to sever relations with the city. So this was a great disappointment to many people in the city, and the commission really hasn't weighed in on it. So I wrote a short letter just of support of ePalpity, and I hope we can maybe vote on it and send it to the council members and the city manager and assistant city manager as our support. Before I read it, though, I know that we had just heard about the situation with Music of the Sea, so I'd be happy to remove the mention of Music of the Sea from what I'm going to read. So, I will just read the letter.
Sure.
Change the verbs a little bit. Okay. Dear Mayor, Blackspear Council members, Hinsey, Krantz, Muska, Lindy, City Manager Antil, Assistant City Manager Campbell. The Epalpity concerts are wonderful programs that are enjoyed by many Encinitas residents as well as music lovers from outside the city. These series have been valuable assets to the city and bring an unforgettable experience to listeners. To hear beautiful music of this quality in our library, played by incredibly talented and energetic competition winners from all over the world, is an extraordinary experience. These are programs that set Encinitas apart from our surrounding neighbors and reflect so well on our community. The Arts Commission hopes that the problems of this past summer can be resolved and that the city can come to a solution to secure the continuation of the Epalpity program in Encinitas. So that is the letter that I would like to send, and we can have discussion or.
Sure. I wanted to just thank you for writing that, Irene, and say that I definitely share that sentiment, that I hope Epalpity will continue to happen in our city, and that from all I've been able to understand of the current conflict between city staff and the Epalpity festival administrators, that it seems like something that should be able to be overcome in the interests of the broader community and the community good, to be able to experience these festivals. So yeah, I'd like to hear what anybody else has to say. Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
I also want to thank you for thinking to put this letter together. It's a brilliant idea. And I completely agree with you. I just have two editorial comments. The last sentence in the second paragraph, or I guess it's the first paragraph, these are programs that set Encinitas apart from our surrounding neighbors. And I don't know, that when I read it the first time, I stumbled over that. So these are okay, never mind, ignore that. Okay. But I did stumble over it, so if there's an easier way to write it. And my biggest English teacher was my mother, and she always said that hope actually doesn't have a lot of strength to it. So if we could say the Art Commission looks forward to these problems, to the problems of this past summer being resolved. So we're looking forward to these problems being resolved. It's just more positive.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Perhaps it could. Thank you.
Oh,
You could just perhaps say these programs set Encinitas apart from our surrounding neighbors, rather than are and that.
Yeah.
Always good to get rid of some words.
And there was a second edit as well.
Sorry.
And there was a second edit saying we would want that to say the Arts Commission looks forward to.
Yeah, looks forward to the problems.
This past summer being resolved. Well,
Yeah,
would
being
anyone like to
reasonable.
entertain a motion that the Arts Commission sign off on this tonight?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so with those three edits, do we have a motion?
I would move that we have this letter sent from the Arts Commission to the addressees. Second?
I second.
Okay. Do we need a vote?
I think we have to,
We're, we're not seeing any clickability. Oh, what just happened? Oh,
Oh, there you
thank
go.
you. All right, hit the top box, right? That's what everyone needs to do. Hit the top of your box to the left of your computer, guys. Oh, I didn't mean to vote nay there, sorry. Okay. There you go.
Okay, we are voting on number 10, the commissioner member initiated agenda item to approve the letter.
Yes, with all present members voting yay, it passes.
So Commissioner Abraham, I just need to record your vote. Excuse me, record your vote. Okay, thank you. All right, so it passes unanimously.
Chair Corrales-Smith,
Yes.
just for a clerical clarification, will you be sending that letter from the chair? Since this is coming from the commission and not coming from staff?
Good question. If that is the most appropriate way for it to happen, then I will gladly forward.
I think in this instance, since it was a commissioner-initiated item, that would be the most appropriate if you could do that.
Yes,
Great, thank you.
thanks. Okay then. That is all for 10A. 11, future agenda items added by commission members.
I do have a request. So I would like to, I'm not exactly sure how to word this request or what, what the exact nature of the request would be, but I would like a brief discussion and ideally a status report on the theater pad at the Encinitas Town Center. I know from history of this, from actually covering this as a reporter over a number of years, that, and I think I mentioned this before, there have been at least 5 organizations that have tried to launch theaters at that site over the past probably 15, 20 years, and haven't been able to make it work. Most recently, Intrepid Theater Company, which was founded here in Encinitas and became a really amazing success in the broader San Diego theater community, and really wanted to stay here in Encinitas. They were really committed to becoming a local resident company, and they were in talks, I believe, about 7 years ago to found or build a theater there on the theater pad, and ended up having to pull out because I think they found it was going to cost something like $2.5 million, which is a big hurdle to clear for a small company. And obviously, it's been too big of a hurdle for numerous other companies to clear as well over the years. And I've never quite known why that was. You know, Carlsbad has a very established, respected theater company in New Village Arts. Solana Beach has North Coast Rep, which is one of the biggest companies in the county. And I feel as though Encinitas really deserves to take its place among these coastal cities in that regard. But, I guess I would just like to have a better perspective on why it's been so difficult to make that happen over the years. I don't know if there's something the city can tell us about the requirements to make that happen, or if there's companies that are currently interested. Are they in talks with anybody? I know it's kind of a broad request, but, I'd like to try to keep it kind of a brief discussion about a big topic.
Yeah, it has been discussed, but we've got a lot of new members, so I'm all for hearing an update on that. I believe the city was in talks with North Coast Rep for a while. Is that?
Yeah, I think most recently, actually, as recently as maybe 2017, I think
So I do want to caution the commission, we're starting to get into a conversation. So if that's something that you'd like an update on, we just need a second person to weigh in on that, and we can, to support that motion, and we can move forward with that.
I support adding that to the agenda.
All right, so we only need 2 members, so we can add that to the agenda. Moving on then to commissioners' reports. Are there any commissioners' reports tonight?
Well, I can report that my art show in Carlsbad, I'm part of a group show at the PHES Gallery, is still going on. That'll be on until November, and we did have a very nice panel discussion yesterday with 4 of the artists.
Excellent. Thank you, Irene. Any other commissioner reports? Okay. Then I will adjourn this meeting of the Commission of the Arts on October 3rd, 2022 at 5:52 p.m.